Yeah, I'll react to that, sure.
The NFL is the richest
Why American football
sports league in the world. They make more money than the NBA, NHL and the Premier League combined, but they still can't get enough. So they are trying to enter new markets. And with such deep marketing pockets, it is no wonder they are able to sell out a stadium abroad. In November 2022, 70,000 fans celebrated the NFL game in Munich. The clip of the German crowd singing Country Roads went viral.
Okay, big problem is that a lot of the world, if there was a lot of the market in the world for the market for I want to see big dudes smash against each other and get a ball from one side of a field to the other. Well, there's already rugby that's extremely popular around the world. And so, okay, now you have to focus your market on the countries that don't really have rugby or another big contact sport. And maybe Germany is one of them, right? But unlike basketball and soccer, even, cricket, even baseball, all right? I feel like the NHL has so many, all the padding and all of the rules, and it's just not a intuitive game always because of all of the coaching and the timeouts and all the rules and the yard line, and it's very much a TV sport. So yeah.
Because it showcased the successful melting of two very passionate fan cultures. Even Tom Brady said it was one of his greatest football moments ever, and the guy has won pretty much everything there is to win in his sport. But as successful as all of this sounds, there is another, slightly weird part to the story. One about a bizarrely that involves Donald Trump, an elephant, and how they accidentally helped association football. Welcome to Athletic Interest and how the NFL failed in Europe. American football has one big problem. There is a 7-month break between the Super Bowl and the beginning of the next season. It's the biggest gap without any matches in all of the US sports. So the NFL and TV broadcasters saw an opportunity to host more games in the spring. In the late 80s, they agreed on expanding to Europe. By bringing their product to a new market, the NFL hoped for a lot of new fans and cash. It was a very lucrative time to enter the market. European football was nowhere near as big as it is today, and a huge market was up for grabs. They were also hoping to create a farm league to develop talents. But the project got off to a rough start. It was even difficult to find a name, and the NFL can blame Donald Trump. He had acquired rights to the name International Football League, the preferred choice of the NFL. Trump was not willing to sell, so
Really?
the NFL went for the World League of American Football. In 1991, the league started to tackle Europe, funded by the NFL franchises, which invested $50,000 each to get the World League running. TV broadcasters paid more than $25 million for the first season, and probably none of them ever saw their money again. Although the World League had a promising start, an average of 25,000 people attended the first games, but the hype didn't last long. The TV ratings were miserable, the league made a huge loss, and after the second season, the NFL decided to close it.
In my opinion, the NBA has so much international potential. It's insane. Easily, arguably, and I would say as a fact, I would say easily, if not a fact, it is easily arguable that the two best basketball players in the world, which have always been American, right, are Giannis Antetokounmpo and Nikola Jokic. One Greek, Nigerian, one Slovenian, one Serbian, right? You have Markkanen from Finland. You have Schroeder's not bad on the Lakers. You have Gobert. Like you have a lot of great players, and it seems to be like every year there's another European star and everything. So basketball, I think, is gonna conquer the world because it has a niche that's not filled,
But giving up was not an option. After 2 years of brainstorming and rebranding, the World League came back with a narrower focus on Europe. The NFL then tried some really weird things to gain traction. For example, they decided to let an elephant, an animal neither native in the US nor in Europe, present the league's trophy. Tailgate parties attracted more people than the actual games, and the cheerleaders were bigger stars than the players. Rebranding the league again, first as NFL Europe League, later as NFL Europa, didn't do much besides proving the lack of vision by the NFL. The project was burning $30 million a year, almost $500 million in total. So eventually, the NFL pulled the plug. The two reasons why the league was originally founded backfired in the long run. There are good examples of NFL players who started their careers in Europe before successfully returning to the US and eventually winning the Super Bowl. But overall, it wasn't easy to sell a minor league without the sport's biggest stars. Besides the lack of vision, there was simply a lack of quality. The games were never near the quality of the NFL. And viewers quickly realized that and shifted their focus to watching the real NFL instead of the less exciting European sister league. It's like trying to convince your friend to watch an MLS game instead of El Clasico.
Or
but the NFL learned its lesson.
Premier League.
Instead of trying to sell it.
Yeah, it's like my point about having like rugby is a very similar game, you know. In some ways, I think it's a lot more straightforward, and you can actually, one of my most hated things about hockey and ice hockey and football is that I like to see the players. Like, I really do like to see the players. And then hockey, I also not a giant fan because the puck is so small. But I don't know, the big thing that I like rugby a lot that football doesn't have is, like, I'm seeing these massive dudes. That's why I watch stuff like football, basketball. I want to see these supreme human specimens, enormous, jacked, strong, go at each other. And it's like trying to make cricket popular in Japan or the US, where it's like we already have baseball. And I think trying to make any sport outside of Europe popular in America would be the worst thing, because the sports market is so saturated with 5 or 6 professional sports leagues.
Cheap copy, they started selling the real thing. The same year that the NFL Europa folded forever, their big sister NFL started to play regular season matches abroad. First in London, then in Toronto, Mexico City, and in 2022 in Munich. While England, Canada, and Mexico are logical fits in terms of language and geography, Germany is no obvious choice at first sight. It's neither a direct neighbor, nor does it share the language. So why Germany?
It is for me because they don't have rugby, or they're at least not that great, so they don't have that big dude contact sport. That would be my first guess.
After the Second World War, Germany was divided into 4 sectors, including one American. In the following years, more than 200 American military bases were established in Germany. The larger bases especially looked like tiny American cities, with American stores, American schools, and American sports, which attracted curious Germans. People would go over to the bases, looking through the fences, and the American soldiers would bring them in and teach them how to play football. It was a cultural exchange that paid off. Over 40 years ago, the German Football League was formed as the first of its kind in Europe. When NFL Europa folded in 2007, 5 of the 6 competing teams were based in Germany. All this
I would love to watch German football. I would, if any country in the world other than Canada, right? Anyone in Europe created a American Football League, no matter how bad they might be or lack of talent or money, I would love to watch the games just to see non-Americans playing.
The groundwork for the biggest American football spectacle so far on German soil, the NFL's Munich game in 2022. The organizers received 3 million ticket requests, enough to fill the Allianz Arena more than 40 times. A recent study revealed American football as the second most watched sport in Germany, only behind reigning king football. Also thanks to these 3
I wonder how many more watch American football than... I'm surprised more watch football than basketball.
guys and their TV show. They popularized American football in Germany, providing expert analysis on TV and online, but also by never getting tired of explaining the game to new audiences. It is a great example of what the NFL got wrong in the first place. American football can be very confusing. Sebastian Vollmer won the Super Bowl, but was quoted that even after 2 years of playing the game, he didn't know all the rules.
Yeah, I do not know a lot of the rules. I'm in no means a football super fan or even fan. I like it when the Patriots are like doing well or in the playoffs or the Super Bowl. But yeah, I just think that there are so many more little rules than any other sport, and it's like, ugh.
So instead of trying to make the game more interesting with elephants and cheerleaders, it's better to focus on explaining the beauty of it to new viewers. Takes more time, but has a higher reward. The NFL certainly understood that point and started promoting flag football as an easy and more approachable version for kids and fans to get in touch with the game. With the Olympics in LA in 2028 and the NFL pushing hard for flag football to become an Olympic sport, this strategy could...
The Olympics in 28 is in LA. Watch out for needles and feces on the streets, guys.
Turn out to be a masterstroke. The second challenge that the NFL faces in its competition with other sports, a lack of international stars. Just think of what Yao Ming did for the popularity of the NBA in China. But the
guys,
NFL also...
I'm pausing again. You'll never believe the story behind Yao Ming. Yao Ming is essentially a genetically engineered Chinese basketball experiment. Both of his parents were I feel like forced marriage is maybe a little harsh, but like they were put together and be like, hey, you're married. That seems like a forced marriage, but I'm not saying like they didn't like each other. And they picked a basketball player who was his Yao Ming's dad, also paired him to mate, right, with a very tall Chinese female athlete, I think, or just really tall, to create Yao Ming, right? It's like Yao Ming is like 6'5", 6'6", and that was imagine America or UK, pick anyone, just like, hey, we want to make good basketball players. Okay, find really tall people, get them together, and be like, hey, make a baby right now, and then we'll grow them up.
Did for the popularity of the NBA in China. But the NFL also has a master plan for that problem, the International Player Pathway Program. The main objective of this program is to increase the pool of talented international players and to ultimately increase the global popularity of American football. It was established in 2017 and has seen success in placing international athletes in NFL practice squads, with several players earning promotions to active rosters. It looks like the NFL has learned its lesson. There are already more games confirmed to take place in Germany, and there is even talk about moving one franchise permanently to London. Arguably a huge market, but also a city with plenty of very established football clubs already, which brings up a major question. In today's globalized world, it might ultimately come to a battle between American and association football for the hearts and cash of the fans. Both would be well advised to pay attention not only to the money, but also to how to sustainably grow the sports entrusted to them. In the end,
in my opinion,
the fans will make the vote.
I just don't think that American football is a great sport. I've never played it. Obviously, I've played like flag football or just tossing around with friends or on Thanksgiving. But I've never been on a team, even in middle school, peewee, or high school, freshman, varsity. But it's just not as fun to watch as basketball. Maybe even not as fun to watch as soccer. Jesus, I keep burping. I'm drinking seltzer. Very interesting. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. I hope you're all doing well. If not, chin up. My nose is so itchy. You'll be good soon. See you next time, guys. Bye.